Chains rattle broken, now we rise. Flag in my hand starts burning the skies. Truth ain't dead, though the liars try. They scream loud, but the words all die. Guys watching hands, praise to the throne. Freedom ain't free, blood built this home. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Red, white, blue, we bleed to survive. Who fight and strive. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Land of the free, ain't bending the knee. Truth in my veins, it's all I see. Patriots roar, no fear in the fight. Continue freedom, stand in the light.
Okay, guys, it's another live stream. Thank y'all so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. We got a lot to talk about today. Before we get into it, if you're new here, hit all the free buttons below. Helps out the channel. We are growing. We got a lot to talk about, though, tonight. I appreciate everybody who keeps coming back. And for the folks that are watching this on repeat, you'll appreciate this. Yesterday, after the live stream, there was a frequent viewer, a subscriber who came on, left some really great questions, and in my typical time towards the end, I didn't actually get to the answers or get to answer those questions. So for MTX 485, I'm going to answer some of those or the question that you posed yesterday, because I'm sorry I didn't get to it. I didn't see it until after the stream was over. Junior in the comments, good to see you here, my friend. Blah, 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 black sheep. Hola, welcome. Megan, welcome. It's good to see you guys back here. I want to know your thoughts about Markwaye and Mullin, and you might want to hold your answer until I give you a little more data about the guy. But if you aren't aware, Kristi Noem has been fired, and Markwaye Mullin, senator from Oklahoma, has been put in the DHS position. So let's listen. We're going to listen to a couple of people providing commentary on this. This is the Charlie Kirk show's take on it. I'm going to give you my thoughts about the guy, but let's listen to them first.
Did it, but maybe we did it. Kristi Noem is out as Secretary of DHS. Reports are that Senator Markwaye Mullin will be replacing her.
We have a statement from the president.
Let's read it.
Yeah, let's get it. I'll start reading it. I am pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Markwaye Mullin, will become the United States DHS Secretary effective March 31st, 2026. The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be removing to be special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. We are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland. And then he has a lot about how great Markwaye Mullin is and all of that. But yeah, that's breaking in the last matter of minutes.
So we spent a lot of time in hour one talking about some of the controversies that have been swirling around DHS, stuff that we don't want to see because it's too critically important to the mission, to re-election, to the coalition. I'm pleased to see that the president is taking decisive action, and Senator Markwaye Mullin is a friend of the show, very, very well respected, understands the base, but he also understands the, let's just say, the intricacies of working with blue states and understands working with senators from blue states, what these negotiations, these high-wire acts really entail.
Okay, so there's several reasons for this. Let me give you some more, and this is honestly stuff that I wasn't even aware of. I had no idea of this rumor, which was reported on Fox News. How I missed this, I don't know. You guys, I see Megan says this is news to me. What did she do? Well, we're going to talk about that, Megan. We're definitely going to talk about that. So here's a report from Fox News, and let me play this if I can get it to rewind properly. Here we go. Listen to this.
Yeah, just speaking with some folks who have a lot of knowledge of this situation, I'm told the president spoke with Kristi Noem just before that Truth Social post went out, which means that when she was on camera giving her remarks and didn't actually touch on what had just happened, she was aware of what was happening. I'm further told that Corey Lewandowski is expected to leave with her. Of course, the rumors of an affair between the two were one of the factors that I'm told compelled the president to remove her as DHS secretary. Both of them are married, and she had faced questions about her alleged affair during testimony on the Hill this week. Under oath, she did not deny it. She called the reports garbage, but she never denied sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski. And I'm told that he's expected to leave his post as a special government employee and advisor to her when she departs the Department of Homeland Security. Unclear so far. I'm trying to still get information on whether leave with her means go with her to this new role that we are still fleshing out what exactly that entails, or if that means leaving the government as a special government employee, if that relationship has frosted over. Still looking for more information there. But the president was unhappy, I'm told, with, quote, many of her unfortunate leadership failures, which included Minnesota, her public statements in the fallout to that deportation campaign there, also the ad campaign, the $200 million in spending, and these rumors of an affair with Corey Lewandowski. Yeah.
This is part of the swamp. It's the swampy part of the swamp. You hear about all these extramarital affairs and all this stuff going on. You would think if it was just that, it would be, cut this out, guys. Just stop. There's no need for this. You're both married people. Stop. I mean, Donald Trump's not going to be the guy to tell them that necessarily. I don't think Donald Trump has a reputation as being the most, of infidelities. Let's just say it's in his history. I don't think now that he's 80 years old, but nonetheless, this is the swampy part of the swamp. And there's another response. I'm going to get it. Let's pull it from. This is Scott Jennings' show. And this is before I get into kind of the who is Markwaye Mullin. And you guys, I'm sure, have heard of him because he's made waves on he's kind of made a lot of spectacles up on Capitol Hill. But this is the live response from James Comer and Scott Jennings once they found out. Listen to this. Oop, here we go.
Now we do see breaking news. She's out. So I believe I'm being told that the Homeland Security Secretary, and apparently, well, we're learning this together, Congressman. Senator Markwaye Mullin of Oklahoma is going to replace Kristi Noem as Homeland Security Secretary. This is literally just happening right now. So it's hitting me at the same time it's hitting you. March 31st apparently will be the date of the transition. Congressman Comer, I've got about 30 seconds. How does this news strike you?
Well, the interesting thing is Markwaye and Kristi Noem are very close friends. They used to work out together in the gym every morning. I've known Kristi for a long time, ever since I've been in Congress. It's I'll say this: I support the president's decision. I think Markwaye will do a tremendous job in that position if that's what he wants to do, and hopefully we can get some stability moving forward. Because if you look at all the great things President Trump's accomplished, securing the border and making our country safe internally, the homeland, that's his greatest accomplishment. So that's what the focus of Homeland Security needs to be about: the president's accomplishments, not about whether the secretary spent too much money or her personal life or anything like that.
That's Congressman Jamie Comer of Kentucky. Congressman, thanks for joining us, and thanks for.
How did I not hear about this? As much content as I consume on a daily basis, an affair between her and Corey Lewandowski, it was not something that was even on my radar. But apparently it was. That's bad enough. But the $200 million is what she has been getting absolutely slammed for. Not to mention, guys, that she took one of the most popular, something that helped Trump get elected, securing the border, deporting the criminals from our country. These were wildly popular things, and she botched it royally. Royally botched it. I gave her the benefit of the doubt, to be perfectly upfront. She's a charismatic personality and so on and so forth. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt and said she's getting pushback. She's responding. She was responding to the Minnesota thing. People gave her a hard time because she was calling them terrorists. That they're domestic terrorists. I think that was probably harsh language, but there may have been times where I said they're certainly acting like they're terrorists. Going after ICE agents and CBP, all of that. But the affair, I didn't, that one caught me by surprise. Now, you might want to say, is Markwaye Mullin a good pick? People probably remember this. This was one of the times where he made a lot of headlines. He went viral for this moment.
Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me.
Oh, dadgummit. They put music to
anytime.
it. Shoot, I'm going to get a copyright strike on that one.
Sir, this is a time, this is a place. You want to...
Dadgummit, I didn't even think about that.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
I'm totally going to get a copyright strike for this. I can't play that one. I'll have to find another one. Basically, he said, quit the tough guy act. You want to, you pick the time and place. This is what the guy said. And Markwaye Mullin gets up. He even twists the ring a little bit, like, because he has a history as an MMA fighter. He spent, I think he was 3-0. Some people say he was 5-0 as an MMA fighter in his early life. And then you could hear Bernie Sanders say, "You're a United States Senator. Sit down. Sit down. That's enough." I can't believe I pulled one that had dadgum music on top of it. Here's another instance. This is Markwaye Mullin again interacting with Bernie Sanders. This is recently. I think I actually played this video in one of my previous shows. Let's pull this one up. Here we go.
I'm
sorry. Boy, I'm a mess right now.
Anyways, I ranted too long. Let's talk about some...
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask your opinion on that. And if I cared about your opinion, I would ask you. But I don't care about your opinion.
Well,
you're part of the system. You're part of the problem. You've been sitting here longer than I've even been alive. This is your problem. You should have fixed this a long time ago. You've been railing on it so long. What have you been doing?
I've decided not to run for Surgeon General. You're the nominee. I've decided not to accept that nominee.
That is definitely something we would never accept.
He is a pit bull, and there's an entertainment factor that goes. Part of this, you guys know this. Part of this is personality, and this guy has a very, very big personality. His background is, he was a successful entrepreneur. He started multiple startups. His family's into a little bit of ranching. He's got the MMA background in his career. He's he's a big personality. He's been successful in his private life, and now he wants to be successful in the public sector. I don't know. The thing that strikes me about him is this right here. It's something that I saw a long time ago and something that I criticized him for. If you all aren't familiar with Unusual Whales, Unusual Whales is an X account that pulls up people that are beating the S&P, they're beating the stock market, they're beating all the hedge funds, and pretty consistently Markwaye Mullin is on this list. He's down towards the bottom, so he's down here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. So Markwaye Mullin is right here. You can see him, Oklahoma, and he's about 18% over the S&P. When stuff like that happens, I have to be honest about it and say that rubs me the wrong way. Do I actually trust this guy? And I'm a huge proponent of banning stock trading, individual stock trading. He also, Unusual Whales brought up the fact that he bought $50,000 worth of Raytheon stock before we went into Venezuela. So Unusual Whales, if you don't know, they're able to take the stock trading filings that most of these congressmen and women have to file, and they can track the trades based on other events that happened prior to COVID. There were several congressmen and women who got busted because they were buying Zoom stock right before the shutdowns began, knowing, and it was a perfect example of insider trading, that they were buying these stocks knowing that businesses were going to shut down and work was going to start to be remote. So if you make this list, I'm automatically going to approach you with a considerable amount of skepticism. But he is a big personality. He doesn't take any crap off anybody. And that's really, at this point in our nation's history, that's what we need from the person who's running DHS. But Kristi Noem was taking flack, not just from the left, as we're always going to take flack from the left, but she was taking flack from the right too. This was Senator Kennedy, and he was talking about her. This was recently in her congressional testimony in front of the Senate. This was Senator Kennedy questioning her. One of, an American treasure, Senator Kennedy.
I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it
Did the
correctly,
president
worked
know
with
you were gonna do
OMB.
this?
Yes,
He did.
yes.
Okay.
And one thing, Senator, I think would be helpful to know is how effective that communications has been. That
Well, they were
overwhelmingly.
effective in your name recognition.
Have they been effective in swaying public opinion on the border situation, on deportations? Have they really been? Is $200 million in taxpayer money effective? Has it been effective? No, it hasn't been effective. Come on.
I mean, I
Kristi?
personally just.
And he said,
I mean,
by
to
the
me,
way,
it's in
he's-
your name recognition.
sorry, let me back it up
I mean,
a little bit here.
Helpful to know is how effective that communications has been. That
Well, they were
overwhelmingly.
effective in your name recognition. I mean, I personally just. I mean, to me, it puts the president in a terribly awkward spot, and and I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. It's just hard for me to believe, knowing the president as I do. I mean.
So the $200 million, it featured ads. Let me play you one of the ads. This is why I think there was a lot of online speculation about, as I was researching this, people saying it was her using taxpayer funds to kind of position herself. I won't say there was a lot of that. There was some of that. Using campaign ads to kind of bolster herself for maybe a presidential run or something like that. If that's true, I don't know. But these are the reasons behind it. This is why Donald Trump kind of had to make a move. Let's go.
Why do I love these wide open spaces? They remind me of why our forefathers came here. Not just for its beauty, but for the freedom only America provides. I'm Kristi Noem. From the cowboys who tamed the West, to the titans who built our cities, to the dreamers who chased the impossible, America has always rewarded vision and grit. Our greatness calls people to us for a chance to prosper, to live how they choose, to become part of something special. Anyone who searches for freedom can always find a home here, but that freedom's a precious thing, and we defend it vigorously. You cross the border illegally, we'll find you. Break our laws, we'll punish you. Harm American citizens, there will be consequences. But if you come here the right way, your American dream can be as big as these endless skies. From President Trump and me, welcome home.
And I think that was everybody's problem. She was prominent in all the ads. So it was, look, I think that ads were important. And I know just from being in this space that the people that are charging the federal government, the video production and all this stuff, they're overcharging every time. I mean, it's massive, massive price tags on these sorts of ads. And I see it down here. Megan said, can someone dumb it down for me? What happened? I'm confused. Sorry. I'm not answering the question then. Basically, he ousted her because, as we've learned, was allegedly having an affair, that she spent $200 million on an ineffective campaign ad, and she turned one of the president's most popular and most significant campaign promises into a PR disaster here in the U.S. That essentially sums it up. Be the easiest way, I guess, to explain it. So sorry, I was ranting and I was getting too deep into the weeds on it. But I've used Markwaye Mullin. I want to say, I like the guy. I like the Bulldogs. I like the people that just don't care what other people think. We need that, because when people start getting into the fray, especially in the Donald Trump presidency, you're going to take a ton of heat. And Kristi Noem did. And I always gave Kristi Noem the benefit of the doubt. I thought that, what she did during COVID with, she was South Dakota. What she did with South Dakota was amazing. It was a growing economy in the midst of, all these other states just absolutely crumbling. So she did an amazing job as the governor. People loved her. She took this job and she bungled it. Now, Markwaye, he came out and he actually had a response to this. Let me see if I've got this. This was his comment. He was an absolute gentleman about the whole situation, because I think it was Comer that said they were friends, like they were buddies. So this was Markwaye when asked about his assignment as the head of DHS. This was his response.
Just looking at some of the criticism that Noem has faced, is there any learning lessons that you have picked up from?
I did it again. I keep picking the ones that have music. Why in the world did I do that? I'm so off tonight. So anyway, he says, look, Kristi is a friend. I'm going to have to editorialize this now. He said, Kristi's a close friend of mine. You know, we're both family people, and she has set in place a lot of things that can be built off of, some successes that we can build off of. She was in an impossible situation or a difficult situation, and things didn't go the right way, but I'm not going to comment any further because of our friendship. That was essentially how this whole thing was said by him. And me, being the dummy that I am, picked two of my main clips, and I didn't even pay attention to the music in the background. I've been copyright, like, even if it's a 10-second clip, YouTube will absolutely come off the top rope with sharpened elbows towards you. So you guys tell me what you think. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Let's see. And I want to say, I'm going to stop for a minute and say hi to everybody down here. We've got blah, blah, Black Sheep, Megan, Junior. I've highlighted you guys. We have got, she was sitting. What is that? Michelle, welcome. Yes, she's married. Tesfaye Kiros. Biden never fired people. Well, this is true. Biden didn't fire anybody. I don't think Biden knew who was working for him. I don't think Biden had any idea who was running any of the major agencies out there. So embarrassing now. She's just humiliated herself, wrecked her marriage, and lost the best job she ever had. Or say you just can't fix that level of self-destruct. Yeah. Well, and it wasn't just the affair, right? It wasn't just the affair, but it was a whole host of things. Junior. Let's see. I live in Tulsa area and know Markwaye quite a while. He fights for us, and I believe he has a good heart, also loves the Lord. That's good. So it's good to get people from the Oklahoma area. You guys know. I just know him from his kind of his combative reputation in the Senate, which I'm not opposed to. I'm really not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to any of the people who get in there and tussle in the court of public opinion or tussle in verbally in the House. He's staunchly pro-life. Yeah, now this I know as well. These are good points. He does hold a lot of the most of our conservative principles. Again, he's a politician, but it's just like I always say that it's not about the who was it? Milton Friedman said it's not that we need new leadership. We just have to make it politically profitable for the wrong people to do the right thing. And I'm not saying he's a wrong person. I'm just saying that as long as they toe the line, that's what we're looking for. Don't stop believing, yes, firmly against abortion. Okay, good. Okay, this is all commentary. This is good. Vic, thank you so much for your commentary from down there and over there in Tulsa. All right, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Just like anything, we shall see. I'm going to get to some comments yesterday. This is dovetailing off the video from yesterday, and then I'm going to move to talk a little bit about the stuff going on in Iran. The Iranian foreign minister came out and said that they're ready for a ground invasion, as if they're kind of taunting us. We'll see. But this was some comments made by MTX, and it's MTX 485. They've been on the show several times, and we talked yesterday about Tucker Carlson, and this is a good point. I hate that I missed it because they had asked it on a separate channel in one of my thoughts. But what are your thoughts on Tucker Carlson intentionally spreading enemy propaganda? He claims Israel and the U.S. were carrying out false flag bombings in Gulf states to drag them into war with Iran. Qatar and Saudi Arabia both denied this. Instead, Qatar announced the arrest of IRGC sleeper cells doing exactly what Carlson accused Israel of doing. The timing is what gets me. If he knew about the arrests, he had to have known who was actually arrested, which means either he's being fed disinformation by a source and isn't questioning it, or he's choosing to lie. I genuinely don't know which one is worse. And this struck me because, we talk about people that are intentionally deceiving us, people in the public sphere, whether that's on X or YouTube or wherever they happen to be, people with big platforms intentionally or unintentionally and just out of ignorance misleading people. And so I thought, what would be worse? Is it worse to just take the information, not vet it, and throw it out there, which is what Candace Owens does? This is the kind of the MO for her whole operation, is take whatever the mommy sleuths on Facebook say and publish it as though it's fact. And then there's people like Tucker who say things that, as we did yesterday, went through and systematically disproved that they are false. I think the intentionality is where it's the worst. I think that is the worst part of it. So if it's lazy and irresponsible for him to take content that has not been vetted and push it out there as though it's fact, because that's like, I could have a friend that texts me and says, hey, I read something. And I say, oh, I'm going to make a whole show about that. I'm going to do a whole video that's going to get millions and millions of views. Not that I get millions of views, but he does that. And I'm just going to throw it out there for the entire world to hear and see, and try to shift public opinion in my favor. That's irresponsible, lazy, and devious. But to say, I know it's not true, if he knows that it's not true and he's doing it, that I believe is far worse, because that's not lazy ignorance or lazy and ignorant. That's being intentionally deceptive. So I don't know. I thought it was a good question. And it is very true that all the things that he spread about this sleeper cell and all that, Qatar itself came out and said, this is inaccurate. This is not true. We did in fact find IRGC cells operating here in Qatar, but we didn't find Mossad operating in Qatar. Not sure why he would say that. So I don't know. I felt bad I didn't get to that question because it was a good one. So speaking of Iran, depending on where you're from. In East Tennessee here, it's Iran. This is the latest report from the foreign minister. Interesting commentary.
This is a Fox News
play
alert.
this.
The Iranian foreign minister telling American reporters that the regime is ready for a possible U.S. ground invasion.
Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
And if you had any doubt that Iran was in a rational state, you just confirmed that. He is ready and seems to be relishing, Lawrence. Let's end where we began. The idea that the strongest, most powerful army in the world could come.
Yeah, because you've done so well in the air.
Well, this is true. We've already taken control of the air. Once you start hearing about B-52s dropping bombs, you know that we have air superiority, because B-52s, they're flying high. They ain't that fast, and they're just dropping lots and lots of bombs, JDAMs, and whatever else they can get their hands on. But this guy's saying, no, we welcome it. We're waiting for it. He kind of has to say that. Do you guys think that is accurate? I haven't seen anything in any of the footage that I've seen, any of the reporting that I've seen, to indicate that they are prepared for a full-on ground war, unless you take into account the fact that they just don't care about civilian casualties. They just don't care about losing a whole lot of people. They know they're not going to win in numbers, but it's the same thing in Iraq. Was the same thing in Afghanistan. When the boots hit the ground and people start rolling in, you can take out the conventional forces, but they know that insurgencies will form, and insurgencies, they bleed nations dry. This is what they do. Look at, even Afghanistan. Afghanistan is being run by the Taliban right now. Nobody has ever conquered Afghanistan. Nobody. They beat the Russians. We were able to, pummel the place, but then the politicians got involved, and we start fighting this counterinsurgency, and we've got ROE that are changing all the time, and it's absolute madness and chaos. And it's impossible to win. And then, we get a Joe Biden in office who pulls out, and we turn the whole base and billions of dollars over to the Taliban. Granted, a few of them, we did take a few on the way out because they were crashing helicopters trying to fly them. But that's American taxpayer money. So this guy has to kind of say that. And the reason I bring up the collateral damage thing is this is the footage. Let's see. This guy he's full of nonsense. Listen to what he says here.
Those are not military. is hitting civilian targets, striking hotels, high-rise apartments, airports in many of these countries. Those are not military targets.
Well, no, we have targeted wherever the Americans are. Maybe there have been some collateral damages, as it is in every war. You know, look, more than 70,000 people were killed in Gaza by Israelis, and Israeli army called all of them collateral damage. So yes, there is the possibility of, you know, collateral damages in this situation as well. This is what
is hitting.
They never nearly hit the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, with rockets. They are indiscriminately shooting. Yes, they're targeting, U.S. military installations. They targeted right off the bat the Fifth Fleet headquarters. That was one of the initial U.S. installations that was attacked. And then he just flat out lies. Listen to this.
Oh, please don't mistake. We have not attacked our neighbors. We have not attacked Muslim countries. We have attacked Americans' targets and Americans' bases, Americans' installations, which are unfortunately located in the soils of our neighbors.
And this is why, by the way, that Saudi Arabia and Qatar and everybody else are asking for targeting packages. They're like, give me a targeting package for something. We got plenty of planes. We got plenty of rockets. We'll bomb them out of the sky. But to say that, oh, we're not targeting any civilian, there's like Hyatt Regencies in Dubai that are burning. Come on, guy. It looks like desperation is what it looks like. And I think that saying, oh, we're ready for the U.S. ground troops, no, I don't think you are, man. And I don't want them to go in, by the way. Let me be perfectly clear with that right up front. I absolutely do not want us to put boots on the ground. And every time that starts making its way into the social media space, I start getting ticked off. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Now, part of it is Donald Trump has to say that is a possibility, because that's the PR, right? That's the negotiation. They have to believe that it's a reality, but they also realize that most Americans do not want that to happen. They prefer this sort of thing. The bunkers getting bombed, the installations, which is what we are targeting, by the way. When people see, look, they're in the desert. When you see a bomb go off in what looks like or in an urban environment, we're using precision guided munitions. This is not carpet bombing. Everybody thinks that it's always going to turn into the firebombing of Tokyo or something like that. That's not how we operate. It's not what we do. When you talk about JDAMs, you're talking about guided, GPS or some other type of guided munition. They are hitting specific targets. They're hitting military installations. They're hitting rockets. They're hitting aircraft. They're hitting things that are military targets. Iran, on the other hand, does not. This is their MO. Fire wildly into other countries. And they thought it was going to be Saudi Arabia coming to Donald Trump saying, stop this. We're going to keep hitting you until you tell them to stop. And they say, nah, I think it's probably better off that we just go ahead and attack you as well. And they weren't expecting that. But this is I don't want to say funny. It's funny because it's a bunker. It's out in the middle of nowhere. There's no civilians around. But the guy's response is interesting. Listen to him.
What the fuck? من اینا رو فقط تو Call of Duty دیدم.
So apparently the translation for that was, I've only seen this kind of thing in Call of Duty. And I saw, I should have grabbed the clip, but there was a post made by one of the generals that's still alive, or one of the military leaders that's still alive. And he was telling everybody online, we've issued orders that anybody who is uttering any speech that is opposed to the Ayatollah or the regime is ordered to be shot on sight. And there was some footage. Again, it was people that were they were up on a balcony looking out over Tehran, and they were actively being shot at by IRGC because they were yelling. They were whooping and hollering. They didn't like the fact that as soon as the bombing started, Iranians were yelling and chanting in the streets, and you could hear it all over the cities. They were excited about it because they don't like them. 80% of the country doesn't like the Ayatollah, does not like the regime. And that in and of itself, again, is not purely the justification for us to go in. We aren't liberators of every country. If we say that that's our duty and our responsibility to liberate every single country that is under duress, that's all we would do. We would spend 100% of our money and 100% of our time in every other country that is, outside the developed world, just solving problems. And that's the whole world police model that none of us want, right? That's just not realistic. When it's in our interest, it is beneficial. And again, this at the moment, I believe that it is in our interest to do this. But I thought it was funny, these people saying, oh, I've only seen this in Call of Duty. I still don't understand the transition plan. It hasn't been made clear. Donald Trump is obviously not tipping his hat to any of that. And Pahlavi, I keep bringing him up because that's the name that's really played on a loop, that it's going to be Prince Pahlavi. And even Trump was like, yeah, he seems like a very nice guy. I don't know. He doesn't want to tip his hat. My initial thought when I heard him say it, let me see if I could find the clip of it, because it's worth hearing the way he says it. Prince Pahlavi, let's find it. Donald Trump on Pahlavi, maybe. I guess that's how I heard somebody Iranian pronounce it. Pahlavi. No response. That's not it. He was in a press conference and he was asked about it. And my initial thought was, look, this guy, Pahlavi, however you pronounce it, he's in another country. He's in exile. They don't want some sleeper cell out there to take the guy out. If he's going to be their guy, he can't lean too forward and say, this is the dude. Otherwise, he absolutely becomes a target. He's already a target. Pahlavi is. And this was, this was way back in February when all this stuff was going on before. But, that's the wrong one. Anyway, that was the wrong one. Here we go. Let me pull this one up. So in case you want to know what the guy looks like, if you're new to the channel, this is Prince Pahlavi. He's the eldest son of the former Shah, and everybody on the internet says this is the guy that's the transitional leader. And he even said it when the whole all the bombing raids started. The whole bombing campaign started. He came out and addressed the Iranian people directly. He said, "Stay inside. Wait for me to tell you when the time for you to step out of your house and hit the streets. I'll tell you when that happens. And if you can't find me on the internet, if they shut down the internet, listen to the radio. I will communicate with you." So he injected himself into the situation and said, "I'm the one who's going to be the transitional leader." And I think Donald Trump just doesn't want to commit to that because it makes him an even bigger target. But again, that's my assumption. I could be wildly off. Back to the people that are wildly in opposition to not just that, but Donald Trump. I have to bring up Nick Fuentes, and I have to bring up the AI video is getting really, really fun. The AI video is fun. I'm just enjoying it. Listen to this.
You can call me a Democrat. You can call me whatever you want. I'm playing both sides. Okay, we play both sides like Chanel. We're playing both sides. Democrat, Republican. I am going with whatever hates my enemies more. And right now, Republicans are my enemies. I want to destroy them.
There was an actual video. Let me see if I can put the source video was him saying exactly that. It was just not him with pink hair. And here it is. This is just so you know, I'm not editing the video or anything. Let's play the original.
You can call me a Democrat. You can call me whatever you want. I'm playing both sides. Okay, we play both sides like Chanel. We're playing both sides. Democrat, Republican. I am going with whatever hates my enemies more. And right now, Republicans are my enemies. I want to destroy them.
So he's a Democrat. I think the mask has been pulled off of Nick Fuentes at this point. I always go back to him saying Republicans need to give up on Democrats need to give up on the border. They need to allow us to have a secure border, and the Republicans need to give up on the free market, on the healthcare thing. We got to have free healthcare, and we got to have free education. I said, you're a Democrat, bro. It's just a Democrat, another run-of-the-mill Democrat, and I think the pink hair one works a little better for him. That tells us who he actually is. The necktie is confusing. The necktie and suit is confusing. But I've wondered if Marjorie Taylor Greene is much the same. She came out and is Donald Trump is squarely in her sights. She is really ticked off. And then Tucker, she came, we did a whole video yesterday on Tucker Carlson. And apparently Trump said, this is the quote, is from Jonathan Karl. He says, in a lengthy conversation just now, President Trump hit back at Tucker Carlson, who called the Iran war absolutely disgusting and evil. This is what Tucker said about the war. And Trump told, he says, Tucker has lost his way, Trump told me. I knew that a long time ago, and he's not MAGA. MAGA is saving our country. MAGA is making our country great again. MAGA is America first, and Tucker is none of those things. And Tucker is really not smart enough to understand that. And Marjorie Taylor Greene had to come to Tucker Carlson's rescue and said, I support Tucker. Trump doesn't even know what MAGA is anymore and turned it into MIGA, which is Make Israel Great Again. Trump is not America first. He's donor first. When have we ever gotten that impression from Donald Trump? Never. That's the answer. She said Tucker would beat Trump if he ran for president, and Trump tried to violate the Constitution and tried to run again for a third term. She is saying that this is Democrat talking points through and through. Not to mention her entire platform changed. This is how, look, this is when they say I'm going to vote with Democrats, when Nick Fuentes says that, it says I have no morals, or not morals, but I have no principles. My principles just move with the politics. We aren't that. This is why we are standing behind Donald Trump. We also understand what it is to elect Donald Trump to make decisions after being given the intel that he was given. And that's what an elected leader is there to do. We get 10% of the information. Donald Trump gets 100%. Well, we'll say 98%. I'm sure there's some things he hasn't seen. And we say, President Trump or whoever we elect to office, we're giving you that authority. Take that information and do what is best for the American people. Donald Trump, who has been very clear about where he stands on the economy, on establishing us as a more powerful, reestablishing us as the powerful force across the globe, economically, militarily. This is not out of the ordinary for Trump to do. It's just not. And this is, I'll go back to say it for any of the folks that haven't been on this channel before. This is, we're killing like 3 or 4 birds with one stone. Not that, again, I'm critical of it. I'm wishy-washy about it, but we're in it now. And we have to understand why Donald Trump is doing this. It is painfully obvious that part of the reason this whole Iran conflict is going on is because China gets a massive amount of their oil from Iran. So does Russia. They get a massive, Russia wasn't getting much from Venezuela, but China was. He understands the biggest geopolitical threat one of the biggest that we've got, at least from an economic standpoint, is China. China is our biggest competitor on the world stage when it comes to economic power. And this weakens them wildly in a big, 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 big way. So the folks that are in opposition to him, look, they're people like Thomas Massey. They're going to play apologist, and they do play apologist for Iran. It's like, come on, dude, are you serious? Like now we're going to minimize what the Ayatollah was doing.
And it will send more swarms of refugees into Europe and the United States. Iran is not Venezuela. The Ayatollah was not a president. He was a religious leader from a region notorious for radical Islamists. And the United States and Israel turned him into a martyr. And in the process of doing so, we've already expended billions of dollars, and more solemnly, 6 American families must now lay to rest their sons and daughters. And for what? This administration can't even give us a straight answer as to why we launched this preemptive war.
I think they've been pretty clear why they did it. Other than the Marco Rubio misstep, which we've addressed on this show. He's saying, he was just a religious leader. Now you turn him into a martyr. So the better thing is to allow him to continue to exist and pump money into our enemies all across the region, pump the money into the insurgencies, people like Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas. Keep giving them the money. It's better to just leave it alone. It doesn't impact us at all. It's never impacted us, as they would say, other than the EFPs that were flooding, Iraq, taking off the limbs of service members. The short-term memory for some, this is why I say Donald Trump conceptualized this whole thing, or he framed this whole thing in the historical sense. He said, we have been dealing with this for 47 years. I mean, just under Carter, I mean, if people, well, Thomas Massey's already forgotten, but the hostage situation throughout the years and all the way through the global war on terror, Iran has been a thorn in our side. It does destabilize the region. And again, I'll go back to it. He's never said it. Nobody that I know of has ever said it, but I think that this is a component of the rebuilding of Gaza. That's not all of it, but that's another component that people are missing. They will be harassed, and bombed, and blown up, and the conflict will continue so long as Iran is taking their vast oil wealth, selling it to China, using the funds to fund terrorism all around the Middle East and the world. Makes sense to me. Okay, let's see. What else have I got here? Here's one other one. I'm going to play this. This is more confirmed footage of cluster munitions being used. This is when it gets so Iran, the foreign minister says, no, we haven't been targeting civilians. There's going to be some collateral damage. This type of stuff is massive collateral damage. I cannot go, you can look it up online. I didn't pull up a video. In fact, well, maybe I could pull one up now. Let's see if I can find a video of the nearest thing I can think of, which would be like DPICM. Let's see, DPICM footage. It's really gnarly stuff. Let's see. I have no idea if this is, well, yeah, here's an example. This will work just fine. It's indiscriminate. It's area fire weapons. Does not care about collateral damage. So you can see down here at the bottom, this is the type of thing. This is from a smaller round. They're sending massive, massive ballistic missiles with little bomblets being dropped. They're area fire weapon systems. We use unitary warheads, and we use very, we're hitting specific targets. This stuff was supposed to be destroyed. In 2010, it was a 2008 resolution. 2010, it was adopted. Anybody who had this stuff was supposed to destroy it, not stockpile it, no longer manufacture it. And Iran's using it in urban areas, densely populated urban areas. Okay. All right, let's see. What else have we got? I'm going to end on a good one, and then I'm going to get to comments here. I like it. I really, really like it when some of these woke pastors, this is in Congress. I've said for a long time taxation is theft. I believe that. I think that the tariff system, if it wants to be some sort of a tax on like a sales tax or a VAT tax or something like that, where it's only the tax is only paid at the point of purchase. So I have the option to not buy that said thing that is taxed. But for them to automatically pull money out of our account every time we get a paycheck, give it to the federal government, it's theft. This is a pastor who is schooled by Representative Michael Cloud. Never heard of Representative Michael Cloud, but listen to this. This is great.
One of those brothers of mine, even the least of them you did to you. To the extent that you did to one of those brothers of mine, even the least of them you did this to me. I would ask you, who's the you in that passage?
Thank you for your question. You, meaning all of us, the followers of Christ.
Followers of Christ, right. In Matthew, Jesus was sitting on the Mountain of Olives, and the disciples came to him privately, and then they asked him. That began this whole chapter. Now, what Christ didn't say was to lobby your government. He said, if you have, you give. That's the general biblical principle here. 2 Corinthians chapter 9 gives us probably the best scriptural understanding of what charity is. It says, each of you should give what you've decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly, under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. Would you say that taxes are under compulsion?
Taxes are not my area of expertise, but
But are they given under compulsion? Do you pay your taxes?
As a U.S. citizen, I pay my taxes.
Yes, because what happens if you don't?
We don't have the services that we need to support our.
What happens to you personally if you don't pay your taxes?
You get in trouble.
You get in trouble. I would say that's under compulsion. So if we're talking about what charity is, I'm always amazed in D.C. how much of we get to define our personal worth as a politician or statesman or whatever you want to call us by how much of other people's money we give away. And so there's certainly a place for a social safety net potentially, but the idea that Matthew 25 is kind of used as a blanket statement. As a matter of fact, the parable that he gives right before that scripture that you go into is the parable of the talents, where you see someone, a business owner, go away and he leaves 3 employees in charge and gives them each a bit of investment. And 2 of them turn their investment into a profit, and one that turns it not into a profit, he does nothing with it, just sits on it. What does he call him? You're a pastor, right?
Yes, I am, sir. I don't have that.
He calls him a wicked and a lazy servant. And so, scripturally speaking, God expects us to do something with what he's given us. Now, Romans 13 talks about the purpose of government. Scripture is replete with, there's different institutions that each have a different thing. The primary job of raising our kids and taking care of our families and the institution of the family. The government has a different one. It says, for the one in the authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid. For the rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants to bring agent of wrath on the wrongdoer. Would you say that someone who commits fraud is doing wrong?
We all are against fraud.
Right. Is fraud theft? Would you agree that that's theft?
Yes.
As the 8th commandment says, thou shalt not steal. Would you recommend that someone in your church go into debt to give an offering in your church?
No.
Okay, so we have a massive program of fraud that's being paid for by taxpayers, and it's not really us paying it, it's really our kids and our grandkids that are paying it, and yet we continue to see this massive expansion, all under the taken out of context of what charity is being defined as.
I thought that you might think this is like wildly out of left field. Like, why in the world are you playing this? This comes back to, I always talk about it on my show, is I hate the massive amount of government spending we have. And we always say, well, we're supposed to be charitable. We have so much. We have so much to give. We should be giving it to this person and that person. And then the fraud starts. So the whole premise behind it is it starts with theft, and the theft continues. The theft increases every time there's tax increases. It's pumped into fraudulent activity that is defrauding the people under the auspices. So not only is it theft, but it's a lie in general. And a very small number of people are actually helped. But we say, and when pastors get up to these in front of, Congress, and they're pleading for us to help the needy, it's their job that they're supposed to be doing it. Now, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be that we can't have a social safety net. If everything is lockstep, yeah, we absolutely could. And we do, and we're never going to get rid of it. But how expansive it's become is unfathomable, and people get up here to lobby to take more money, to swipe more from the American people, from their tax dollars. And I like it when the woke pastors who I guess lobby for this sort of stuff, when they get a lesson, biblical charity versus government spending. Glorious. I loved it. This guy, it was so professional. It was so well done. And I get it. We got to give unto Caesar. That's part of it. Taxation's never going to stop. But the type of taxation that we have is different. Anyway, let's get to some comments here. I don't know what you guys thought about that, but I thought it was a good one to share. Junior laying some information on us. I was popping up the comment before your comments a little while ago. Oh, I just let me shrink it back down here. Junior talking about ID. Where was it? Hang on. Oh man. I'm liking this dude. He's a fire for the good. Let's see. These politicians. Okay, where was it? Junior was, and I threw up the comment. So if you were on a little while ago, here it was. Did you hear that by 2027, YouTube is going to start requiring government ID to make comments or chats in a stream? Is it not interesting that you have to have a government issued ID in order to make comments on a YouTube video, but not to vote in our elections? Isn't that fascinating? Wow. So government ID to comment or chat, that's going to destroy YouTube. What in the world are they thinking? I guess they're thinking, let's be charitable and say that they're trying to get the bots out of all of it. The problem is that, people that are wary of giving their government ID to a liberal cesspool, which that's probably going to get me banned too. This video is getting throttled. But giving your ID to a liberal cesspool, nobody's going to trust that. Other people will, because they have complete trust, faith and confidence in the the liberal social media platforms. It's going to become very one-sided maybe, but yeah, a lot of people, like, chats are just going to stop. It's going to crush live streaming. And this is a problem too, because live streaming is the way, I still say it's the wave of the future. Pre-recorded videos are going to go the way of AI. It's just what's going to happen. You're going to be looking at someone. There's going to be thirst trap content. You're going to see some, a beautiful woman who is not real, in a very soothing voice, telling you what to believe, telling you, interpreting the information. It's all AI generated. And somebody is going to be sitting in front of a screen using AI prompts to churn out a bunch of AI slop content, but it's going to be enticing and it's going to bring people in. I'm not saying you guys, I'm saying there's other people out there. And the only way, I think, to maintain some level of reality, at least for now, until AI can do exactly this, look at a comment section and respond to people, like AI, there's going to be a real hunger for actual content creation. But if you start shutting down chats, it's going to kill it. And maybe that's what they're trying to do. I don't know. Maybe they don't want people doing live streams. They just want pre-recorded content because it can be churned out with woke AI, and they can feed AI slop to everybody. And I don't know, maybe that's part of their grand plan for world domination. I don't know. Adults and everyone, they want to connect people's real identity. And that's the other point. See, Junior, hitting comments, you're hitting points tonight. That they want to be able to tie anything that you say back to, like they'll be able to track it straight to your ID. So when the day comes that speech laws are a thing, like they are in the UK, and they effectively crush our First Amendment, they will have every chat comment you have made tied to your government ID, and they can come issue fines or whatever. Wow. I did not know this. Thank you for letting me know, Junior. I appreciate you, man. Tucker's son, going back to Tucker Carlson, that he needs to be taken out of Vance's department. Yeah. You ain't wrong. I don't know. I've never gotten a complete warm and fuzzy. I will tout the good things that J.D. Vance does. I will say that he's a great communicator. I will say, a lot of positives about J.D. Vance, but there's certain parts of it that it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't know what it is. Qatar said he was wrong. It was epic and definitely not something. Let's see. Qatar literally said he was wrong. Oh, yeah. Talking about them calling out Tucker. Let's see, Junior, there must be a lot of bots that they want us to. Carlson is being so strong as we. Yeah, I think that's. I know I'm bouncing around. I'm just get to the comments as I come to them. A lot of bots. Yeah, they just want us to prove who we are. But for all those other reasons, whew. Let's see, Megan, it's intimidation tactic by YouTube, and all other platforms are going to do the same thing. Oh, yeah, doxing, all of that. Yep. Whew. That will get bad. That will get really bad if they start doing that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but Megan, see, the point is that once this is my thought anyway, is that once your ID is tied to something, all that becomes vulnerable information that could somehow be a ticked off YouTuber. We've seen people get doxxed by these political actors inside of social media companies. What would prevent somebody from, leaking a little bit of that data to folks? I mean, our political, it's aggressive right now. Politics it's becoming a blood sport, and that's not a good thing, obviously, with the Democrats predominantly. Not with us. We're the ones who sit back and just kind of say, nah, we're off of it. But if they can get a hold of somebody's personal data, if it gets really, really bad, because we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg for what could happen in the streets. Just takes one. All it takes is one. George Floyd situation or one other situation, and things will pop off again. Doubtful it'll happen under Trump, but under the next Democrat. And then they've got a bank of people's IDs tied to the comments that they have made on YouTube videos. And, oh, interesting, a little leak. It just happened. And next thing you know, small creators are very vulnerable to doxing, being swatted, all that sort of stuff. We're not Tim Pool, right? We're small commentators. We don't have compounds. And it's even bad that it's happening to him, obviously, but we can't pay for security. We can't pay for any of that sort of thing. And small creators they're low-hanging fruit and easy targets. Let's see. Junior YouTube has a responsibility to take its users' information like using another company. Let's see. YouTube. They've got mine too. They've got mine too. That doesn't mean it's doesn't mean it's safe though. Yeah. I just think it's bad for getting IDs for people to make comments on videos. No. Do better at keeping the bots out. How about that, YouTube? Do a better job of getting rid of the bots. There you go. Bingo, bango. You are correct. Trump is MAGA. This is the point people make that is absolutely right. People say, oh, it's MAGA, MAGA, MAGA this, who's MAGA that. Everybody wanted to grift off of MAGA and redefine what MAGA means. Well, this isn't MAGA. That's not MAGA. Well, Trump is MAGA. That's what we, again, like we were talking about, putting him in the position to make the decisions. All of our enemies were coming together. He is separating them. That is America first. That keeps us safe for a longer period of time. Yeah. Well, now I've heard reports too online. Again, it's online grumblings. Don't know if it's true or not. That, and again, sometimes I'm hesitant to even say stuff because it's circulating on X. X isn't the place where I go to get all of my information, right? There has to be other indicators. But it is a scenario that we've talked about. That is China getting involved in some back-ended way, sliding hypersonic missiles or other munitions into Iran. If Russia does the same, if they start helping them in the conflict, then we're getting towards the World War III territory. That's when it starts to get super dicey. Once America isn't strong, little Thomas wants 6 answers. Little Thomas wants 6 answers instead of 5. Talking about Thomas Massey. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. I'm the triple M, and I'm here to say that MAGA is the country's only way. We hold down the truth and the Constitution. We won't let the live towards wreck our institutions. There you go. I'm the triple M. I'm here to say the MAGA is the country's only way. We hold down the truth and the Constitution and won't let the libtards wreck our institutions. Did you make that up? You're a poet and didn't know it, Megan. That's funny. I like it. Oh, no notification? Well, okay. Gazelle, honestly, I did this spur of the moment. I'm a bad host. Let me put it that way. As the guy who's on the camera, I'm bad at my timing because I will do it at 5 sometimes. I'll do it at 7 sometimes. I did it at 8 the other night. So it's kind of on me. It is on me. Part of it is YouTube. They shadow ban, and they're still doing it with a lot of my videos. The exposure will go, and then after about 48 hours, it just stops and nobody else sees the video. That's part of it. It's because I'm a conservative, and it is what it is. But the notifications, people have been saying that for such a long time. But if I was more consistent, then the notifications would be a little probably be seen more, and that's on me. But this doesn't put the biscuits on. It doesn't put the meat and taters on the table. The show doesn't, and so I have a lot of people that occupy my time, and I try my best to be consistent with you guys. I try my best. Let's see. Let's see. How is Junior not a mod? I've tried to add Junior, and I tried to add KC. So I've tried to add several folks as a couple of, like, all you regular folks. I'm like, yeah, you never know who's going to be on. And it's good to have a mod. And you guys, I mean, I appreciate it. You guys keep an eye on what's going on down here in the chat. And you're my, the folks that keep coming back. You're keeping this channel running. It's awesome. But I tried to add Junior as well. So I don't know why. I don't know what type of account is required to do it. Megan says, let's see. Yeah. So Facebook is full of AI already, 100%. And blah, blah made another point that Candace has bots all in her chat. Hassan Piker accidentally revealed that. Yes. Hassan Piker said, why is my chat Candace's chat? He was talking like as if they were mirror images of one another. It was crazy. It's botted. And he makes a ton of money. Hassan Piker makes a ton of money off of his just vile live streams. And so does Candace. Somebody made a post the other day where they were basically implying that Candace and George Farmer were having money problems based on some interviews and things they had done. That back in, her podcast was doing moderately well, but he was in money trouble. They were going through the lawsuits and all that. Look, estimates are he's worth $250 million. Maybe Daddy cut him off. I don't know. Maybe Daddy doesn't like what Candace is doing, and now they're relying on her podcast. And she said, well, I can make hay while the sun is shining and just jump into this Charlie Kirk stuff. I don't know. Let's see. I don't think he's compromised though. Some things are icky about JD, but he and Rubio, I don't think they can be bought. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. I was very early on. I was very, very critical of Rubio because Rubio came up in the uniparty. Rubio came up in the old school politics. So I'm wary of people who did that. And JD, what really got me about JD Vance is that he came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he goes from a nobody to senator to the vice president. And that I'm suspicious when anybody comes out of nowhere. But to go that high, that fast, and he is smart. I mean, you can't deny the fact he's sharp. He's articulate. He plays the political game really well. But he was also, just like a lot of these other people, and just because of his, good buddy Tucker and these other never Trumpers who got on board the Trump train, they can still serve a purpose, in the movement, making it politically profitable for the wrong people to do the right things. It's politically profitable right now for them to go along with Donald Trump, but they hated the guy. Tucker Carlson hated him. Megyn Kelly hated him. JD Vance hated him. Like, everybody hated Donald Trump. And next thing you know, they're on board, and the person who's not turning on Donald Trump is JD Vance, but that's because he's the vice president of the United States. I'm not saying that's 100% the case. I'm saying that is a possibility because he was a political operative who came out of nowhere, and we can like his quips. We can like his puns. He's sharp. He's funny. He's relatable. But does that mean I fully trust the guy? No, not yet. Not yet. Let's see. Oh yeah. It's going to happen eventually, right? Blah 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 black sheep. I'll just call you black sheep. How about that? It's going to happen. Like, we know it is. And that's why Donald Trump he's been, he's unleashed with both barrels, figuratively speaking, on a whole lot of things, because so much has to get done before the next Democrat comes into office. And this is why the midterms are so important, and why it is so convenient that only a few months into Donald Trump's presidency, the Nick Fuenteses of the world made their way onto the scene. Tucker Carlson starts turning on him. Megyn Kelly starts turning on him. All these other people start turning on him. And they, the Candace Owens turns on him. And really the I guess not the biggest pivot point was Charlie Kirk's assassination. But before that, people started becoming hypercritical about things that any normal person would say, yeah, that's not going to happen yet. We're 4 months into this presidency. Why are you complaining that much about not having all the Epstein files? Why are we making, like, it's a big deal. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of big deals that Donald Trump said he was going to address. And you're willing to break up the party over not having it as fast as you want it and in the manner that you want it? Pam Bondi was part of the reason that people got ticked off. I got ticked off about it because she does the whole binder thing. Pam Bondi did. And she hangs out the, hey, influencers, if you're loyal to MAGA, you get, you get the binder. Well, that's the wrong way to handle that. And there was nothing in the binder that was new information, but DC Drano and other people got to say that they were, hey, we're part of the in crowd. It was to boost their egos a bit. But at the end of the day, everybody turned on Donald Trump anyway. So she bungled a lot of stuff, has bungled a lot of stuff. Boy, you better believe it. Susan Rice, don't stop. She did. She said that once Democrats are back in office, we better watch out. You better be careful. They're coming for you. And they will. They look. If they'll go after the president of the United States like they went after Donald Trump, they'll come after little old you and me. Look at the J6ers. Look what they did to the J6 folks. Threw them in there and tossed away the key. Cenk, I was almost tonight. I almost played Cenk Uygur, and there were several other people. I think one of them was, oh gosh, he's a Daily Wire, or not a Daily Wire. He's a Charlie Kirk podcast guy. Josh Hammer. I almost played the one between Cenk Uygur and Josh Hammer on Piers Morgan. I thought I'll just do a whole hour-long watch party of it. But look, I didn't make it through the whole thing. Cenk is a I don't know what he is. Buddy Romer gave him money. What was it? I don't know. It was like $10 million, $5 million. I forget what it was for him to start the Young Turks. And he started that company and it took off back. I'm assuming, I'm going to make an assumption that he was buying a lot of views and all that. He gets a lot of views now because he's the socialist guy. Like, he is the guy for the socialists in the U.S. And, it's, Of course, it's Israel this, Israel that, Israel. It's exhausting. I'm surprised that it doesn't, a subscription to the Young Turks doesn't come with, I don't know, Valium and free 6 visits to your local psych ward or something. I don't know. It's, I don't know how you could sit and listen to that drivel. Chunky yogurt. Chunky yogurt. Oh, I'm using that. Oh, I'm totally using that. I'm screenshotting this. I am totally screenshotting this. Goldie, I don't know who Goldie, Goldie Gamari? Who is Goldie Gamari? Chunky yogurt. Oh, goodness gracious. Goldie Gamari. I have no idea who that is. Chucky Yogurt. That one got me. Oh gosh, that's funny. Okay. Yes, Cenk is a piece of work, to put it mildly. You got that right. Funded by a caliphate. Let's see. I literally cannot watch Cenk or Anna without it raising my blood pressure. Yeah, I know. And you're not alone in that one, Megan. Oh my goodness gracious. It's infuriating. And you know, Anna made these, like, people do this. They'll dip their toe into the waters of the, like, normal people, and they'll make some decent points. And we've got to be careful about jumping on board. You know, when Anna Kasparian starts making some sense, if even for a moment, not say, "Oh, she's finally come around." No, she hasn't. She has not. Anna Kasparian and Chunky Yogurt, they cannot. Their audience would absolutely turn on them. They would lose far too much money. Plus, they're just ideologues who complete mental capture. And yeah. So I have to be careful about that. When I hear it make sense and I want to highlight it, be like, yeah, but they're still socialists. Goldie served in Canada's parliament until she was forced out, accusing her of being Islamophobic. She's an Iranian living in Canada who has a YouTube channel focused mostly on Iran. Interesting. That's good data. I'm gonna look her up. Talked with Chunky Yogurt on Piers Morgan too, along with Erica LeBon. Okay. Remember when people thought Anna Kasparian was becoming reasonable? I do. I do. I bought into it. Well, I didn't fully buy into it. I was like, yeah, okay. She's making good points. Maybe she'll come around. Boy, I was fooled. That was never going to happen. All right. Guys, I have come to the end of the comment section. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate y'all participating tonight. If you're new to the channel and you haven't done so, feel free to hit all the free buttons down below. It's very helpful for the channel. Helps us grow. We are growing. We're getting new subscribers every day. And let's be clear. I'll put up another couple comments here. Anna's audience turned on her a bit when she spoke. I didn't know that. I didn't know that her audience was had turned on her. Interesting. Oh, I'm going to put this back up. Saved in Virginia. I'm sorry for what you all are going through. My goodness, those people up in if you're in Virginia, I'm going to assume that you're in Virginia. Oh, that state is a mess. Yes. Here we go. PBD did. So the show that PBD made with Anna Kasparian and, oh, goodness gracious, I forget all their names now. Anna and the model, Jillian, Michael, and there was two other people. I forget, two or three other women. And they were trying to replace The View. Say, here, let's do The View show. And I assume it's still going on. I have not listened to it. But Israel derangement syndrome from Anna Kasparian made it's so unpalatable for people. Like you cannot tolerate it. And, Jillian Michaels walked out of the show. She said, I can't do this anymore. She's like, I'm done. I'm over it. So I don't think it's been all that successful. So let's see. A homeless man apparently assaulted her. She talked about it very openly, heated. Okay. I do remember this. I remember her talking about that. Yeah. Yeah. And people got pissed off about that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I remember her saying it because she was talking about how bad the, where was that one? Here it was, that it was so bad that in California, that this was the experience that she had, and people got mad because she was criticizing it. Now that I could see people being mad about, because if I'm not mistaken, now that I'm thinking back, she was talking about the state of California and the immigrant problem. Paramount Tactical's live stream on Candace and had to rage quit. Gary has got the patience of a saint. My goodness. But he does a good job. And he's been having some amazing guests on. He really has. I'm impressed with his show. Let's see. Okay, back to what we were talking about Virginia. I know I'm bebopping around here. Democrats are trying to gerrymander the state. We talked about Virginia just a little while ago because Saved in Virginia is, going to have I'll get to Don't Stop's comment here in a second. But yeah, they are. They're trying to gerrymander and get you guys down to just one Republican. Isn't that what I heard? I'm going to have mild Sharia law in Virginia. Whew. Sadly, there was only 11% voter turnout in my district. That showed that's how we got Spamberger. Oh my goodness. Wow. 11% voter turnout. That is atrocious. Just let me know, just so because I'm curious. You don't have to give me too specifics because you don't need to say where you are in the internet. Are you in Southwest Virginia? Are you in like Piedmont, Nova? What's because I know in Southwest Virginia, this is a problem. I don't know if you guys know who Josh Howerton is. He's a pastor. So if you're not a Christian, you probably haven't heard of him. But Josh Howerton is an evangelical pastor who was talking about, people being involved in politics, Christians being involved in politics. And it's something like, I think he said 30% of evangelical Christians do not vote, 30 or 40% do not vote. It's like, what in the world? Like let me see if I can look up the number of evangelical Christians who do not vote. New election study, people 40. Whoa, it was worse. Maybe that was the number. 79% of Americans identify as a person of faith, but only 51% of those who identify as people of faith are likely to vote. Goodness gracious sakes alive. That's insane. But in Southwest Virginia, it's chock full of people. Southwest Virginia is. And golly, to have a place where, voter turnout is that bad. And you can see it. I've shown the electoral map in Virginia because I used to live there. I lived there for like 5 years. And I will never go back. I'm staying in Tennessee. I love Tennessee. I was born and raised in Tennessee. But let's see. Yeah, we were getting brutalized in Virginia. And you see it, it's a sea of red. And then you get over to like the Piedmont, Northern Virginia part of the country. Yes, it does. Northern Virginia has a lot of, so you're in Nova. Yeah. Northern Virginia sucks. Sorry. I know it's your home. I shouldn't insult your home, but my goodness, the DC, the swamp is overflowing into Northern Virginia. Let's see. Yeah, sadly, there's only, let's see. There you go. This is the thing. People just, they withdraw from politics. And I'm sorry, politics, culture, and worldview, that's, worldview, culture, politics, and politics, culture have done this. They are the one and the same. If you want to see the culture go the wrong way, just stay out of the politics. If you want to do something about it, you got to vote. You got to be informed. Yeah, Candace lives in Tennessee. She lives in the purple part of Tennessee. I think she lives near Nashville. And we've got our blue areas. Memphis is strictly blue in Tennessee. It's turning blue. It's fairly blue. It's a purplish shade of blue. In Nashville, everything else is red. Like it's just red. We're safe for now, but not for long. Let's see what plus I like hanging out here. People just get out and vote. Yes, Gary and Jay Witt are great. I'm glad people still standing up to Candace on for my own sanity. Well, and Jay Witt's been doing a lot of other good content too. He's got some great content. It's and I've seen some others. Rage, I'm not afraid to shout out other channels. Rage Bronson does really good stuff. I don't know if you guys have heard of Rage Bronson. I've been listening to him recently, and he does a really good live stream. So there are great creators out here that are not the big, the top tier folks. And in fact, the top tier folks, a lot of them are insufferable. I can't even listen to them anymore. Like, give me real people, like smaller channels. I enjoy listening to, and not that Gary Small, he's a big channel. Like he's such a good dude, and he is not, he's not corrupted by these former, and let me put it this way, these former news anchors who hobnobbed in DC that started doing the internet thing, they brought a lot of that poison, I think, into their programming. I'm just saying. And there's people that are outside of that, like, who seem to be anyway. Scott Jennings seems to be a pretty legit guy, but I don't know. Graham as well. Yeah. Yeah. So there are great channels out here. Let's see. How do we motivate people to vote, especially in local elections? Some people, you make such a great point. You make such a great point that how do we motivate people to vote, especially in local elections? So many people, if they vote, only vote in presidential elections. Local elections are critical. And I will use a personal example where I absolutely failed in a local election, and that was not being involved. I was paying all this attention to national politics, to state politics. And you think we're in a red state, we're in a red county, where everything's red. And we had only been living here for about 2 years. I was not paying a lot of attention. I just left it as, well, it's red. What do I have? I don't really have a lot to worry about here. And taxation became a thing because the local politicians had neglected our area. They gave us a 15% tax increase. A 14% tax increase. They did that right before all the homes were being reassessed. They reassessed properties, and people's home values went up by 30 to 50%. So on top of the 14%, they then got a 50% increase in their taxes. And immediately after this happened, within a year of this happening, they tacked on another 24% property tax increase. Absolutely criminal that they let it go that long. And it was politicians who, before my time, when I was still living in Virginia, they kicked the can down the road, and they said, well, we don't want to be the one who's left, or who's raising taxes on people, because we'll never get back into office. And they said, well, just leave it the same. Next thing you know, they don't have money, and they have to raise them, and they raise them massively. People start going to them, pleading, saying, I'm not going to be able to afford to live in my house anymore. Like, I'm living paycheck to paycheck as it is, and you've doubled up all this stuff. That was a lesson for me in understanding what's going on in local politics. And I used to fight it when I was on the Virginia side. I actually was writing letters to the vice mayor and these people because of some of the horrible laws they were passing and money they were spending. And they didn't care, because if it happens, just the same stuff that happens at the higher level happens at the local government. We had people they told me basically, these people bring in more tax revenue, so we're going to basically, when it comes to your right to enjoy your property, we're siding with them because they bring in more revenue. I was like, are you kidding me? So somebody who brings in more money than my little building does and my little business does, they have more rights to their property than I do? How do you make that argument? And that's the type of thing I was fighting in Virginia. So it happens at the small levels. We got to be involved. Tool notes from she's all right. Marsha's okay. I think she's all right. Back to your question. I know I'm going back to your question. I think it's just, in this instance, people will start to feel the pain, and then they get involved again. They say, "Oh, well, maybe it does matter that I vote." But some people just feel defeated, or they get election fatigue, and they're like, "I can't do it anymore." Politics is it's like I say, it's blood sport, and people get tired of it. Is there somewhere that Charlie specifically talked about that subject? Wait, let's see. Scott Presley is the only one trying to get people out to vote. Yeah, Scott Presler, Presler. He was the one that won Pennsylvania. I mean, when we won, that guy was doing all sorts of legwork to get the vote out. And he has a team of volunteers and other people, but he does a lot of it himself. Let's see. I'm not sure he's always tried to engage people with conversation to get them out to care about. Wrestler was active in my state in 2024 and was probably a huge factor in swinging my state, especially getting the Amish vote. Yeah. So you were talking about Charlie Kirk specifically talking about it. No, not that I know of. I've seen him. I've heard him mention it before, but I couldn't point you in a specific direction where he talked about it. But I think just it's pleading the case to people that, look, local authorities, local government they have more power in a lot of ways than the federal government does. Not in military power or military might or anything like that, but to affect our day-to-day lives. The decisions that they make, they're around a lot of the critical components of our day-to-day life. I mean, that's true. Our safety, our security, how your kids are being educated, that's a big one. And that's why we see all the school board meetings getting publicized. But yeah, it's not just, it's not just politics. It's how your kids are spending 8 hours a day or however long they are in school, what they're being taught. All that stuff is huge. Let's see. Was the main driving force behind getting people? There you go. Do more of what Charlie would do. That's good. Allegedly, I'm going to run for governor of Georgia. Be interested to see how that goes. Let's see. Maybe his YouTube during his pre-election time, but his main thing is engagement. Yeah. I like Josh Hawley. I don't know if you guys saw the video of him doing push-ups. I think he was at West Point or something like that. He did more push-ups than some 20-year-old at West Point. I was like, hey, dude's fit. He's like a distance runner or something like that. So, yeah, I like Josh Hawley. There's good ones out there. We've got good ones. Let's see. All right, guys. I have come to an hour and a half now. We don't go for time. We go to standard. But I'm appreciative of you all. I've enjoyed this conversation. Y'all are giving me a lot of stuff to look at. Let's see. Has anyone seen? Sorry, now you're pulling me back in again. And they pulled me back in. Has anyone seen the hearing where AOC had the chart presentation she was so excited about, like a middle schooler? It was quite sad. No, I didn't. But maybe I'll include that one on another show. Guys, just to let you all know, I'm going to be on the road for work, so there won't be live streams tomorrow or Saturday. I may still try to do one on Sunday. We'll see how it goes, but I'll pick it back up next week. And I've got a lot of road trips over the coming weeks. I'm thankful for the work, but that means I won't be live streaming as much. I'll try to pre-record some videos and premiere them, and that way later on I can go back and check your all's comments. But I appreciate you guys. This channel is growing because of you. This channel exists because of you. I love the community that we're building here, and I'm thankful for you. So God bless you guys. God bless America. And I'll see you all in the next one. Have a fantastic Thursday night. All right, guys. Later.